is Lady Myya. Hello, you guys. We are back with another podcast. We are back with this lady. This is Lady.
That's a lot of miles to you, right?
All right, thank you guys for joining us. I am here with Austin Grant. He is a very awesome individual. He's an author, you guys. So he's going to tell us about his book and a little bit about him and what we can expect from the book. So, my Myya tribe, please welcome Mr. Austin. Hello, sir.
How you guys doing?
Yes, we're great. Okay, so please tell us the name of your book.
My book is called Quotes by People Wiser Than Me. I actually have a copy if you don't mind me showing it on screen. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Go for it.
Cool. Awesome. That's already pretty cool. This artwork was done by a good friend of mine, actually. So I like kind of showing it off and presenting it a little bit, as a kind of homage to him. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, the artwork was done by Marshall Zazen. You can follow him on Instagram and check out his cool artwork. And he made me promise him that I would say that anytime I showed the book. So he's a good friend of mine. But no, the book is called Quotes by People Wiser Than Me, and it's just a great way to kind of think outside the box for yourself and reflect and find different ways to positively impact your life.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you know what? Every little bit helps, and all the people that get us to where we're going, we need to take them with us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Okay, so we had a little chat, you guys. We had a blast, just kind of taking him back down memory road on how he came to this point in having this book. So if you can please tell my Myya tribe just a little bit about you, just so that they can figure out who this person is, Mr. Austin Grant.
Kind of got me to my point was, I've lived in Baton Rouge for most of my life from age 13 and up. Moved back and forth from Jacksonville to here, and I started writing quotes probably at around age 25 or 26. Started writing in little journals. I know we recently talked about being ADHD, being hyperactive, having that hyperactive mentality, and sometimes when you got that much energy, you gotta get it out somehow. You gotta use it, proactively. And so I started writing. I started just writing quotes that I thought were interesting, and 3 years later, I had a journals filled with quotes from Socrates or Martin Luther King or all these writers and philosophers. And so I was like, what? I need to use this. I need to use this information to possibly help people. So that's kind of why I wrote a book. Writing helped me so much in my life to kind of figure out myself and who I wanted to be and where I wanted to go. That I thought if I turned it into kind of like into a book, so to speak, that I could do the same for other people.
Like that. I feel like a lot of people tend to have a story as to what it took to even get them to the point of writing this book. Can you give us that story?
Well, there's two parts to that story. Both are, both parts aren't too pretty. Life usually isn't. Usually you find your uniquenesses and the things that you want to do in life usually through failure, more often than not. what started me writing my quotes was I had a falling out with one of my best friends. That sent me into a very depressive state. And I've been friends with this guy for like probably 24, almost 23 years. We're friends now, thankfully. We mended that, and we're good, and we're good buddies now. I love him to death, like a brother. But in that time that we had that falling out and those disagreements, like I said, I had to find a way to keep myself motivated and out of depression, basically. And so I started writing. I started writing just journals and journals and journals. Just lots of information. So that's kind of what started me on my little quote journey. Was I found that quotes describe what I was going through in life in such simple manners, or in such simple words. And it just gave me a lot of direction, I would say, in a time when I didn't have any, because I was just, in a lesser sense, I was just sad all the time, and that happens. You're gonna have those hills, where your life is going great, everything's awesome, things are going your way, and you're gonna have those valleys, where life sucks and things happen, and you're just gonna have to find ways to deal with that and overcome those obstacles. And so writing quotes and journaling was one of those things. I never thought I'd write a book about it, but here we are. But the second part to that, the reason why I actually wrote a book, was because my mom passed away last January, January 23rd at 3:15 p.m. Obviously, it's a pretty big moment in my life, very sad moment. She died of liver cancer. She battled cancer, breast cancer, and survived that. And then a couple of years later, 4 or 5 years later, the cancer metastasized from her breasts, down to her liver. And so, unfortunately, she did not survive, the second coming about of cancer in her liver. And she passed away. And so after that happened, I was like, man. It made me ask a big question in my life. I was like, my mom's gone, and she was such a big, she was big part of the reason why I got into martial arts, because she noticed that I was ADHD and needed me to focus, and so she put me in martial arts. So she was just a big person in my life that that definitely got me where I needed to be, and I definitely wouldn't be the person I am today without her. So it made me ask this question, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? Who do I want to be? I just saw my mom die. Like what do I want to do? And so I was like, I came to the conclusion that 1, I want to help people, and 2, I want to leave, a legacy that people can learn from. I want to leave something that I did that people can look back on and be like, hey man, reading that or learning that, really helped me, or when I was going through this, I read your book or I learned something from what you wrote, and, that really taught me something special or important. And so I just wanted to help people, and I guess I used all that pain and loss, that pain from losing my mom, and I turned it into motivation fuel. To write my book, because I wanted to do something important that I felt was going to be meaningful to me and hopefully meaningful to other people. And that's why I started writing. That's why I officially started writing my book. Was to, 1, positively, mentally, cope with my mom's death, and to, turn that into something, great. Turn that into something positive that I can give other people, And so that's really was kind of needle in the haystack that got me to be like, you know what, if I'm gonna write this thing, you know, I need to do it now. You know, because that's just the time I had my inspiration, you know.
Well, let me ask you this.
So that was really,
because I think you were in the midst of saying it, but at the same time, I want to make sure it's being said so people can understand. Your takeaway from writing this book, like what did you change, or what like stood out to you the most after writing this book?
Are you talking about what changed about me?
Yes, sir.
The biggest thing was not everything in my life deserves a emotional reaction. And what that means is that just because something bad happens, or just because something awful might be going on, or one of my friends might be dealing with something terrible, it doesn't mean that, you know, it has to affect me negatively, or it doesn't have to bring me down. You know, I can overcome those obstacles. I can achieve what I need to achieve, you know, by staying calm and just staying focused. And now what it taught me was, you know, if you're going through a rough time, you know, it's okay to be sad about things. You know, emotions happen for a reason. Sometimes you need to feel that pain in order to deal with it and eventually let go of it, and then learn from it and then move on. You know, I realized that I was having too much of an emotional reaction to too many things, and it was taking away from what I wanted to do in life, who I wanted to be, whether that be, you know, depression or coping with certain things in my life that I shouldn't have been coping with. You know, I mean, I was never a drinker or anything, but there was plenty of times where I had to self-check myself and be like, hey, you know what, you know, maybe I have drinking a little bit too much this month, you know, and that was because of me having those emotional reactions that distracted me from what was important to me, which was family, you know, friends, you know, writing my book and practicing my martial arts and teaching martial arts. You know, all those core values and core activities I do, you know, brought value to me and brought value to other people. So that was the biggest thing, was to just try and find a balance in my life, and just to not be so reactive towards things, and to slow down and really question what's happening in my life, so I can really, you know, be the best martial arts instructor I can be, so I can be the best author I can be, you know, so I can, you know, do my best to now I'm a personal trainer. I got my personal trainer certification a couple, you know, half a year ago. So, like, you know, it gives me more time to focus on what's important and not be so reactive towards things. That's what I got out of writing my book. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of us, you know, tend to react, and not so well sometimes, and it's hard. I think it's just more of a human thing to do, especially when things like that happen. Parents, that's hard. That's real hard. Okay, so what is it that you feel people will take away from the book, and what do you want them to take away from this book?
It's a really good question. It's definitely something that I asked myself a lot when I was writing it. But I definitely want people to be able to relate to some of the things that I talked about in there. You know, 'cause I talk about success. I talk about, you know, sad times in my life. You know, I talk about the hills, you know, where I was, and I talk about my valleys. My not so great times, and in doing so, I want people to be able to relate, because if something's relatable, if something, you know, that you can read and be like, wow, you know, I've been through that too, or I've felt that way too, it helps them learn, you know, from whatever they're reading, you know, a lot more. It's the exact same as if you're studying science and you're not into science, you're not going to care about science. But if you love history and you can relate to history, you're gonna love learning about history, and you're gonna absorb, you know, a lot of useful information. So I really tried to, you know, write what was meaningful to me, and then I tried to write what I thought was going to be meaningful to other people, you know. And so that's really what I was trying to do. Was trying to get it to, first, if it can relate to somebody, then I felt like it could positively impact their life a lot more, you know, because then they could reflect and say, hey, you know, maybe I'm not, you know, being the best husband right now, or maybe I'm not being the best friend, or, you know what, maybe I should go take, you know, that opportunity, that job opportunity that I've been, you know, putting off for a while. You know, I wanted my book to make people think about what was really important to them in their life, and then go achieve it, you know, or maybe it just gets them through a bad day, you know. Maybe for you, just to give you a little outline of my book, it's quote, you know, the meaning of the quote, what I thought was meaningful about it, the application, how I think the reader can use the application. Then it goes life application, which is how I've used it. And then it goes reader's thoughts, which is where it gives you some lines to write about what you think of the quote and how you can apply it. So that's the way it's designed. Is the reason why I'm explaining is the reason why I made the book mean what I thought it was supposed to mean. Just, you know, if one of those quotes in that book can help someone, you know, get through a tough time in their life, or achieve something great during a very, you know, difficult but you know, happy time in their life, that'd be great. You know, and it's you know.
Can we get one of your quotes?
Sure. I actually marked some in my book just for that occasion. I don't know why, but I marked it with pennies. That's all I had on me. Those whatever gets the job done. Penny for your thought. Yeah, I guess so. It's funny. Weirdly enough, it's how it worked out. But I'll read two quotes and I'll explain a little bit. This is written. This is invest more in love than in money. I'll read that again one more time. Invest more in love than in money. And I think money is great in bringing stability in your life and giving you the freedom to do what you want. And I think, you know, don't take away that, you know, you should invest all your time in love and never in money. You know, that's not necessarily what I'm saying. It's invest more in love than in money. Meaning, you know, that love can come from yourself, it can come from friends, it can come from family, it can come from prioritizing the time that you spend with your kids, you know, and realizing that, you know, don't get so wrapped up in making money that you don't make a life for yourself, you know. And I think a lot of people these days do that. I mean, you know, I've listened to a lot of podcasts about a lot of people that are far more successful than me, that have far more financial freedom than me, that have met millionaires, billionaires, and all that. And a lot of them say that, you know, usually people with a lot of money, you know, are some of the saddest people in the world. You know, I don't know any specific statistic, but just from, you know, reading about it, you know, that seems to be sometimes very true, you know. And I think the reason for that is because no amount of money can buy you time. Once time is up, time is gone. You didn't go visit that family member you wanted to go visit last weekend. Well, you can't do that anymore. Maybe you got to schedule another weekend to go do that. Or you said you were going to be somewhere and you didn't show up. You know, just things like that. You know, just time is so important, and it needs to be invested in, you know, very it just needs to be invested in more often, right? So that's why I wrote that quote. Was just I realize how valuable time is, and how valuable it is to other people, in reference to just spending it with the people that you care about, So that's kind of why.
Sometimes the people that we care about the most tend to have such an impact on us, and especially when we lose them, then we remember all the things that they tried to tell us and show us and get us to understand about life, in general, at least most of them, and then you have others that you're supposed to watch from afar, to learn what not to do. You got those type of people as well. So I think definitely, choosing love over money, a lot of people don't see that as common sense, unfortunately, And so when it does become common sense and they understand why you say that, because a lot of the times we love the wrong things, right?
Oh yeah, very true.
We love the wrong things, and those things can really sway us to go in a very negative way. But you have to be very careful what you pick to love at the same time. So I like that quote though. I do like that, choosing love over money, and people love you all the time. So, just make sure that you highlight that, because people don't have to love you. So that's always a great thing.
Very, very true. And to sum that up is just making sure you prioritize who you want to be in your life when you want them to be in your life. Just making sure you set that time aside to give thanks or make those special memories with the people that you love. That's very important, and that's a skill that you need to learn how to do and navigate through our busy lives. But I'll read one other quote, if you don't mind. Let's see here. I think this one's kind of important. A lack of education can often result in immediate elimination of part of one's own self. I know that's a little, that might be out there, but it's one thing to know something about something. It's another thing to really educate yourself about the subject. If you educate yourself about a subject, that means you care about it, right? So it's just, I guess the meaning behind that one is just, if you're not educating yourself about what you love to do, then you're missing out on discovering a part of yourself that you may have never discovered before. This could be, simply as going to a painting class and learning how to paint. That could be a lifelong passion you never knew that you had, or if you would have never started this podcast, you would have never discovered that you love doing it. It's necessary. The lack of education thing refers to just being open enough to discovering new concepts and learning new things, right? And that's just super important. I think, that's something I try to embody, is just always trying to be open-minded towards everything, and to always ask, well, why do you think that? Or why do you believe in that? Or why do you care so much about that? I'm not trying to ask those questions to, I'm not trying to ask those questions to, question, whether or not that person believes in what they believe, or question what, is it important to them. I'm trying to just learn more about that other person, or learn more about what I'm doing. And I think that's really how you stay educated, is ask questions. Always ask questions, always have an opinion, always wonder, always wonder, why something is the way it is, and just always be trying to absorb knowledge like a sponge, you know. And I'll be the first guy to say that I am not the most educated guy. I am not the best writer. I've maybe read 5 or 6 books in my adult life. I read a lot when I was younger, but none of those books were really educational. It was just, you know, zombie books or vampires or whatever, you know, fantasy stuff. But like as I got older, I came to appreciate knowledge and education a lot more, because it made me think about the different parts of myself that I've yet to discover through learning, through educating myself in a subject, you know.
I like
thankfully
that,
people
but
like
you know, a lot
Yeah.
of the times we fail to realize that we can ask those questions why, you know, and get some real clarity on a lot of those things. I just recently had a conversation with an individual saying basically we have to ask why, because we need to know why we're in the headspace that we're in, what we're taking away from it or running away from, why that is. So like I used to say all the time, keep asking yourself why until you can get to the very root of the action,
Exactly.
the cause, and the feeling. And when you do that, you learn a lot more about yourself, because that dissection, you know, it gives you a lot more dimension on what it is that you're going through while you're, you know, either one, self-destructing or not allowing people to help you. I mean, there's so many different just ways of looking at that. The perspectives are endless at that point. So like everything you said, it just like rang the bell, and I was just like, I'm not gonna say nothing. No, I gotta say something. So I was like, let me say something. But you know what? That's true. You know, we gotta ask ourselves the reasons why, and question ourselves, question everything. Not to second guess yourself, but to be more on the focal point of foundation. Does this make sense? Is this the person that I really am?
Exactly.
We don't want to do things on somebody else's life, because that's boring. Okay? How you gonna live your life for somebody else? That's just not gonna happen. So if you figure out who you were or who you are, then there's nothing you can't do. Everything is open to you. Nobody can tell you that you can't do anything. So this gives such a very, very, very important lesson. You know, he said it very meekly and mildly, and I'm like, oh man, that was deep though. If they really heard what I heard. And I was just like, I need them to hear this. You know, a lot of the times things are being said for someone specifically that's watching, because they need to hear it. They need to know, all right, well, you know what? I don't really know what I'm doing. And I get a lot of those calls. You know what? Myya, you know, I'm trying to do, wait, no, first off, that's not you.
Right.
Why are you doing that? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Well, this is going to make my situation better. How do you know? And if you do, you're not going to be happy with that.
Exactly.
You got to find some type of happiness. And if you don't, what's the point of life?
Right. And it's, I think, a big reason why people sometimes miss that is because there's a lot of things that people need in order to stay happy or sane or whatever. And one of those things is security. And some of those things, you know, they don't want to travel outside that, you know, that bubble that they have around themselves, to go outside their comfort zone. So they stay in that secure environment and they never grow out of it. You know, that's partially why I'm moving out of my home, one of my hometowns, the next few months, is just to get out of that comfort zone and discover new things. And you have to sometimes go where you're not going to feel as secure, even though that's what sometimes we seek, you know, in people and in life and a job, is security, knowing that you're going to be okay. Well, unfortunately, just, you know, life's not like that. You know, there's times in your life when you're not going to know that you're going to be okay, and you're going to have to, you know, take that risk, you know. What is it? Who is it? What's his? Where is he? Bob. I have a photo of him over there just to keep inspiration. Bob Ross, right? Bob Ross said a quote. You're never gonna find fruit unless you go, to the end of the branch. I know that's not exactly. I'm probably miswording it, but what he meant was you're never gonna find what you really want unless you find the fruit. You reach for the fruit on the furthest branch where it's most dangerous. You're at risk. You stay near the tree and nice stable trunk, and you're going to be okay. But you have to go out on a limb, and reach for that fruit at the end of the branch. In order to find what's real, what life is really trying to give you.
That's good.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
like that. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Bob Ross, huh? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Right. Exactly.
It's been a long time. Okay. So, what is it that you can say to my Mayan tribe in regards to the message of the book, or just your message in general?
The message of the book. Let me look at it real quick. I'm reading the back of my book, because I know I actually wrote it on the back of my book. The whole message is who we become, is often found in what we do and we read. You want to become a published author or a great podcaster. You're going to have to research and read about what others have done that came before you, and you have to learn from people that are either know more than you or smarter than you or have been where you've been, right? Obviously, if I want to be a great martial artist, I'm going to have to research a bunch of really awesome martial artists that have done what I've done and beyond. So I guess my message is, if you're ever at a point in your life where either things are going great or things aren't, and you're looking for that next step or that opportunity for growth, just look around you and who you can maybe call or talk to or research, people that are maybe a lot more well versed in the area you're trying to go for. Learn from them. Whether you're a writer or even a chef, right? Eventually, you're going to have to learn from people that are better than you, that are better at what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve in life. And I think you can learn a lot from those that come before you. You can, like you said before, learn how not to be, right? Or you can learn how to be. Never be afraid to go outside your comfort zone. That's so important, because there's so much resistance that your mind wants to tell you in order to basically keep you alive. It's a defense mechanism that your brain actually does when you're going outside your comfort zone. It tells you not to, so because it's thinking, it's a fight or flight scenario that your brain brings you through. And I've learned that as a martial artist. Dealing with violence. Learning how to cope with self-defense. Learn from people that came before you. Never be afraid to go outside your comfort zone, and always ask yourself the question, how can I grow from this? And question yourself daily in order to discover different parts of yourself. That's probably the most important thing I could tell you, that I could tell other people, is, never think you have always the right answer. Definitely have a direction, have a passion, have a love for something that you do to give you a purpose, right? But then, question that daily so you can continue to grow and reach those milestones and those goals that you want in your life, you know, and never be afraid to do what needs to be done in order to be successful in your life,
Sounds good to me. Yes. All right, sir, can you tell my Myya tribe how they can reach you, beloved?
Yes, I am on Facebook, Austin's Unique Performance. Like I said, I'm also a personal trainer. I'm always taking appointments. Or if you just want to talk about health and fitness knowledge, I mean, I like to think I'm very well versed in different workouts you can do and different stretches, some yoga poses or whatnot. Anything in the fitness world, I love researching and helping people, achieve that fitness goal. So Austin's Unique Performance on Facebook, and Wiser Than Me is one of my Instagram handles right there. And those are the two ways. And also, of course, you can reach me through my email. I don't know if you can post about or share my email, but definitely I know it's a weird one. Ooks Madukes. I know that's not everyone has that name, but I like to keep it a little weird just so it stands out. From just different things. But please contact me on all those 3 platforms if you want to. If you need any help in your fitness goals, or you just want to, talk about anything you want, I'll help you kind of get through anything that you want to, succeed at in life. I do personal training, yoga, and martial arts. Those are the 3 things that I would say I'm definitely efficient at teaching other people. So, yeah.
Yay. Okay. Thank you so much, Austin. This has been interesting, very deep. Okay, I really like just the train of thought that you had while you were writing this book, and the messages that you're giving, because that was very important, especially for everyone, whether you think you have it or you think you don't. So I want everybody to take advantage. I mean, he's got some great quotes and some stuff that you might have to think a little harder on, because it can miss you. It can miss you only because you might be too busy to just really fully understand it. And it's just like, oh, well, this is the core of something I was thinking about before, and I just didn't figure that out until he said something, or what was said, or the quote, gave me maybe another dimension of something else that I was thinking about.
Right.
We're dealing with. So I thank you. I really thank you for being on my podcast. This has just been very insightful. It really has been for just thought process. We take that for granted, and I don't want to take that for granted. So
Exactly.
Appreciate you, sir. And so, Myya Tribe, I am appreciative of you guys getting here with us, and just really getting the opportunity to just kind of do a in-depth mind, sauna. This is what I feel like, it's just like it was a hug, like it was a hug. But definitely, if you just need a little bit uplifting, maybe some words of encouragement going forward, he has it there. And I mean, it's deep and it's good. So my Myya Tribe, you know how this is the end, you guys. We're gonna wrap it up. So if you would like to be on Living Your Best Life with Lady Myya, you can always reach me at admin@ladymyya.com. That is admin@ladymyya.com. Myya is spelled Myya. And you know why? Because your homegirl is special. I'll be talking to you guys later.